Boiling maple sap concentrates naturally occurring minerals, resulting in sugar sand, sometimes known as niter or scale. Sugar sand is composed primarily of calcium and organic acids. It gives unfiltered syrup a cloudy appearance and gritty texture. Maple syrup must be filtered to meet federal and state laws and food safety regulations to earn the designation of Grade A pure maple syrup. The volume and consistency of sugar sand is variable, so filtering can be relatively easy, or it can be frustrating. The two most common ways to filter maple syrup are gravity and pressure filtering. Choosing one method over the other depends on the size of the operation, cost, time, and personal preference. It is one of the last steps in the production of maple syrup, and in many ways, the most important. There is a limit to how much sugar sand any filter can remove before it needs to be cleaned. Understanding these limits will help avoid losses associated with poorly filtered syrup. Looking at filtered and unfiltered syrup side by side, it's clear to see how filtering gives the syrup a more finished or polished look. Unfiltered syrup appears darker, which impacts color grading. Gravity filtering is the traditional approach. Steaming hot syrup is poured through cloth filters to catch sugar sand. Gravity filters are manufactured as flat or cone-shaped. A gravity filter system is made up of one or more pre-filters and a primary cloth filter. The pre-filter is used to remove coarser bits of sugar sand, while the primary filter removes the finer particles. New cloth filters have residue from manufacturing and need to be rinsed with clean water prior to use. Each filter should be moist but not dripping wet prior to pouring syrup through it. Moist filters allow the syrup to flow better between the fibers of the filters. Excessive moisture could impact density. The syrup in the filter need to stay as hot as possible. As syrup in the filter cool, the filtering rate will slow. This cooling process can be delayed by using a filter tank. If a pre-filter is used, it will clog first and can be replaced before the main filter. Layering several pre-filters before starting to filter can make changing clogged pre-filters easier. When to change filters is up to the sugar maker. This decision depends on how much syrup is being produced and how fast the syrup is filtering. Having more than one filter setup is recommended. Clean filters only with hot water. Bleach, soap, or detergent should never be used. Do not wring or twist the filters to dry them. Doing so damages the fabric, allowing niter to pass. Filters need to be allowed to dry completely before being stored. They should be stored in a dry location, such as a clean, odor-free plastic bin. Improperly stored filters impart off flavors to otherwise good syrup. Gravity-filtered syrup can sometimes look hazy. As long as the finished product is within the standards for clarity, there's no issue. Another factor to consider when deciding on a filtering setup is marketing. Syrup that appears cloudy may be less attractive when sold in glass bottles. Filter presses use pressure and diatomaceous earth, or DE, commonly known as filter aid. DE is made of the fossilized remains of aquatic organisms called diatoms. It is essential to purchase food-grade DE from a maple equipment dealer. The amount of DE needed to filter syrup can vary. Anywhere from a half cup to more than 1 cup of DE may be needed for each gallon of syrup. DE should be completely mixed into syrup before going through the press. It doesn't impact flavor of the syrup. Use caution when handling. Wear gloves and avoid inhaling. Store in a dry place to avoid mildew and the risk of off flavors. A filter press is comprised of a rear plate, filter paper, hollow plates, full plates, and a front plate. The plates fit into the frame in a specific order and orientation. Operators must take care that the press is correctly assembled to ensure proper filtering. Common sizes include 5, 7, or 10-inch plates. Larger plates can hold more DE and filter more syrup. Rate of syrup production will determine if having multiple presses is necessary. The press works like this. Syrup is pumped through the inlet and floods into all the hollow plates at once. The press fills from the bottom up. Once all the plates are full of syrup, filtering begins. A little bit of dripping or weeping between the plates is normal. Most presses use either an air-powered diaphragm pump or metal gear pump. Small presses can be outfitted with hand-operated pumps. Make sure the pump is made of food-grade materials and can handle the temperatures needed for effective filtering. Monitoring the pressure gauge is critical. Follow manufacturer's guidelines on operating pressure and shut down before exceeding that limit. Pressure builds as the filter becomes clogged. If the pressure suddenly drops to zero, it is perhaps an indication a filter paper has been damaged. The temperature of the syrup leaving the press should be between 180 and 200 degrees Fahrenheit to effectively hot pack barrels. All syrup should be checked for clarity before being stored or packaged. Wash plates with plenty of hot water. Do not use bleach, soap, or detergent. Discard DE-coated filter papers. Filtering is a critical step, not only to meet legal standards, but to gain and keep customers. By following the steps outlined in this video, sugar makers can be confident every batch of their product is the best it can be.